9, but only the first 3 sections of chapter 9. We really only have 3 more sections left, and then we'll kind of be in review, and then we'll have a little assessment on the 2 sections from chapter 7 and chapter 9. Okay, so I don't know if any of your other teachers told you there will not be a final exams, so that's good news. Did you guys hear that yet? Yeah, so there'll still be your AP, your coming out to you guys, but as far as like your regular classes like this one, we will not have a final exam like we did last term. So, however, Mr. McElhaney are going to get together and kind of talk about maybe like a final like little mini project do that last week that we would be doing exams. So I'm leaning more towards the more fun, casual kind of project, like nothing super serious. So I will let you guys know more about when that comes. Okay. So your last like official test will be covering the last few sections we've done, and that'll be it. So that's good. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's share my screen. First, I'm going to look at the notes. Do we have any big questions from the notes? Like any of the key concepts that you'd like for me to talk about as it pertains to any of the material? So we had to talk about, first part of the notes was matrix multiplication. So that kind of walked you through, and hopefully these examples were helpful. And then it talked about how to find the inverse using, or how to, what an inverse matrix is and all that kind of stuff. And then the last little bit was talking about how to, using a formula. So here's the formula for the inverse using the determinant. So do we have any questions on that I can help with? So just kind of have to shout it out because I can't see everybody on my thing. Is there anything I can walk you guys through with that? I think you guys have done this before in Algebra 2, if I'm not mistaken. No? Yes? A little bit? So. Yeah. I think you definitely did matrix multiplication, and then I'm not sure about like determinants and stuff like that. All right. So if there are no questions on that, or if you do have questions later, just feel free to email me, of course. All right, so I'm going to share the homework problems, and I'm going to work them out separately if you need me to. So let me share. Okay, so what questions do you have on the homework? So the first part is you had to go through, I know this might have been slightly unfamiliar, but you had to go through and find the determinant for each 3 of these matrices. I know I got a few worksheets, only one answer, but you should have 3 different answers for A, B, and C. So obviously finding the determinant is AD minus BC. And that's the determinant. So you have to find that for each one. And then it said, and then identify it as singular or non. So that was kind of a new concept. It really was not covered in the notes. So singular means it does not have an inverse. So if you get a determinant that is 0, it is singular, which means that it does not have an inverse. But if you get a determinant that's not 0, we call that non-singular, and therefore it does have an inverse. But this part was only asking you to find the actual determinant value and then going from there. So do we have any questions about that one? Okay. So in the second one, you had to find the inverse of each non-singular matrix listed above. I'm going to stop sharing that and actually share key to that. Okay, move that over here. Okay, so if you look at the first 2, matrix A and matrix C, both have an inverse, so they're non-singular. Matrix B, determinant was 0, so that doesn't have an inverse. So in the second part, you had to actually find the inverse of matrix A and matrix C using that formula. So 1 over the determinant times, and you flip-flop the A and the D and make B and C negative. So any questions on that I can answer? I can actually walk through that. The formula is listed on the note. So this is going to be one of your key formulas that you're going to need when you do that Google form. There is it. There it is right here. So this formula right here is going to be very, very useful for that. Okay. All right. And then before you actually had to verify their inverses of each other. So that's when you do matrix A times matrix B, and then matrix B times matrix A. And then if you get the identity matrix for a 2 by 2, then they are inverses of each other. So that was 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6 were true, false. I don't know if you have any questions on that. So the determinant can be 0, which means it has an inverse. But every square matrix does not have an inverse. And I just gave an example. And then the determinant can obviously be negative. So, all right. So this is the one you guys probably had a question on. You guys are kind of silent. The cost per mile and fuel per mile for Suzanne and her motor pool company. So you had to create a 2 by 4 matrix showing the cost per mile and the fuel per mile used for each type of car. So I did that for A. And then a 4 by 2 with mileage for each type of car for each day. So, and then the last question, if you make sure you check the Walker Web, because I actually changed the way the number 10 was worded. And it said determine, I changed it to determine the total cost and fuel used by all cars on the 15th and 16th. And really all I did was multiply matrix A times matrix B to get the answer to that. So is there any particular problems that I can work out? Like I said, I'm not going to post the key probably tomorrow because I want you guys to submit your work prior to me doing that, obviously.
What time do you want us to submit this by, Ms. Fisher?
Just by the end of the day, whenever you get a chance and you get finished. Just take a picture. Okay.
Can we go over number 4?
Number 4? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me share my screen here. All right, so I'm just going to show you the worked out. So with number 4, you have to multiply. So to verify that they are inverses of each other, so you have to first multiply matrix A times matrix B, and then multiply matrix B times matrix A. So my pencil it's kind of light right there, but all you're going to do is use matrix multiplication. So remember with matrix multiplication, and let me pull up I'll do the first part for you. Let me share my. So matrix A times matrix B. I'm not going to write out the matrices, but to get that first entry, you're going to multiply the first row times the first column. So -2 times 0 plus 1 times, whoopsie, 0.25 plus 3 times 0.25. So that's that first entry. And then you do the second row times the second column, and so on and so on. So you're just going to use matrix multiplication. Let me go back to the answer. Yeah, so you're going to do that matrix multiplication, and you should get, this is a 3 by 3 identity matrix. So you have 1s along the diagonal and then 0s everywhere else. So as long as you get that matrix for both A times B and then B times A, then they are inverses of each other. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
The same thing I did for 3, except 3, they're just smaller matrices. They're 2 by 2s.
So for 4, would you do for the second column, would you do the second column times the second row?
Right. So to get 1, I did -2 times 0, 1 times plus 1 times 0.25 plus 3 times 0.25. And then I do, to get my next entry, I multiply the first row times the second column and first row times the third. So you go back and look at matrix multiplication, you just have to know where to multiply. So if you look at, for example, a number 3, I laid out here, to find this first entry here, you see how I multiplied this first row and then the first column. So it looks like 2 times -2 plus 5 times 1 plus 1 times the first entry. And then to get the second entry here, I use the exact row, but then I'm doing it with the second column. And then to get this third entry at the top, same row, but I use the third column.
Okay, thank you.
And then I start over here. Now I use the second row and go through each column. And then the last one would be the last row and then go through each column. So I don't know if any of you guys have figured out, which hopefully you figured out, and I'm not going to how to do it because it's actually very easy. You can actually, if you have your graphing calculator, has anyone done it on the graphing calculator yet? Anybody?
I did it last year.
Yeah, so go on to your graphing calculator and let me grab mine. And I had actually forgotten because I haven't taught matrices in like 3 years. I didn't remembered how to input matrices, but it took me like 2 seconds to figure it out. So the matrix, if you hit, see like right underneath the math button, there is x to the -1. In blue, on top of that is the word matrix. Okay, you have to hit your second button and then hit it. See all the options up there to edit, to create any size matrix you want, and then your calculator will store matrix A, matrix B. And then you can go do all kinds of matrix algebra with those stored matrices. So you don't even have to do multiplication by yourself. You can actually put them into your calculator, and then you can do all the multiplying and all that. But like I said, you can do it by hand, or you can teach yourself how to use your graphing calculator. Okay, it's very simple. You can actually probably find a short tutorial online on how to do it, but it's very easy. And you can check your answers and all kinds of stuff. So it's really kind of cool if you want to check it out on your graphing calculator. So I use it as a way to like just check my work when I'm doing it by hand. All right, do we have any other questions about 7.2? Anything?
So on number 10, we're just multiplying both matrices, right?
Right.
Same way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Anything else? Sure, guys, like I love that you guys are like proactive and you send me your homework prior to class, but please, like if you have to leave a whole question blank, just hold off. Don't send it to me. Just wait until we have these sessions and walk you through how to do them, and then you can submit it. Okay? Because like I'm not going to give you full credit for your assignment if it's partially done, because we do have the opportunity to have these sessions and go through it. You know what I mean? So like I said, I really like that you guys are proactive and do it. That's awesome. But if you have a ton of questions, just hold off. Or like reach out to me and we can do a session just you and I, and we can walk through some of those problems. Like if you're really wanting to turn it in and get it done. Okay?
How much is the quiz worth?
I think it's 28 points.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a total of 20 points. I'm not sure. I can't remember how many questions. All right. All right, guys. Well, if you have nothing for me, I'll post this video online. Like I said, tomorrow I will upload the key after I have my 9 a.m. session with eBlock, because that's my other. I will post the key to the homework, and that way you can kind of see them all worked out in case you have any other questions. Okay? All right, guys. So what you should be working on for would be that 9.1. I've already posted those on, I created a new topic in the Walker Web to go over. It has the blank notes, the practice sheet, the video, and all that kind of stuff for 9.1. And we're kind of getting into permutations, combinations, and some fun stuff. So hopefully you'll enjoy that too. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm here if you have any questions. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.